All right, so let me just shut the door and I'll be right back. My regular door stuff, and it's gone, I'm missing. So, hoping that the force of friction on the bottom of this is large enough to keep the door from shutting. It worked this time. See how it works later in the day. Okay. So you can see there that, again, if you use your eagle eyes anyway, let me make it a little bit bigger. See if that does anything. Okay. So you can see there that there's Jamboard first G-Lander, Jamboard first Roby, Jamboard first Turnmeyer, Jamboard first Witz. Okay, and that's it. That's all that I have. And so it's 14 students who officially have not done this at all. Okay, I can only grade what I find. So if you know that you have done it, but you have not followed the directions, please unsubmit, like let's say you turned it in or something. That you need to unsubmit it, and you need to share it with me. Use the share button in the corner of the file, and then it'll show up there. Oh, there we go. Now we got a Morris. Okay, and almost the whole in-person group. Great. And I want to get more from the at-home remote people. Okay, and again, I'm not going to open any of these right now for a couple of reasons. One, they're not anonymous, and I haven't asked anybody's permission to do that quite yet. And I like to share anonymous work. And of course, the person who did it knows that they did it, but nobody else has to know that. So, you know, maybe tomorrow I can share some work once I've got some more in, and I'll have made a copy that doesn't identify who made it. But I do want you to know that this is going to end up as a big 0 if you don't do, again, what it says here, which, let me drag this over into the video. Do you now see the Google Classroom? Is that what's shared? What's that, Naya?
Yeah.
Okay, I know the people in the room can, so, okay, great. And so going down here, again, small font, make it a bit bigger. Okay, so first, you do all these things with the names, share it, and then do not turn it in down here in B4. So if you did turn it in, you can fix it. You can just quickly unsubmit it. No big deal. But if you did, that's not good. Also, if you did ammonia, you did not read the directions. Ammonia is not one of the choices here. Okay, please, please, please. These are not tricks. Please do not. I don't know. Don't hobble yourself. I think of the meme of the person riding the bike down the road and then putting the stick in the front wheel. You know, but don't do that to yourself. Okay, this is meant to be a good exercise where you learn about how molecules actually look, both in 2D and better 3D. Again, it's still symbolic. It's still abstract. They don't have letters floating around and little dots, but it is a way to communicate. Just like you know, the letter A, you know, the sound A, you know, doesn't actually look like an upside down B with a line across it, but that's how we draw it, and then we get the idea across. So that's the same thing here. We want the ideas to get across. Okay, well, not seeing a whole lot of changes here. So, folks, again, there is a meeting this afternoon. If you are in the D and F range, and if you get into the D or F range because you have a 0 on this, please do not do that. Please do not do that. So, again, our meeting is 1:34 to 2:24, and I don't want people to be there. There are too many people in the D and F range, but that can be, you can catch up from that. Questions about the drawing assignment, the molecule drawing assignment? Yes. Layla. Yes. Okay. Absolutely. Yep. Yep. There's no penalty for fixing things. Right. Existing is the first thing, right? Get the existence right, which you have, and then get the essence, okay, which is making sure you follow those directions in B. Yep. So you didn't necessarily hear Layla's question, but it was about, you know, I missed a direction. Can I go back and fix it? Yes, that is exactly why I don't want you to turn it in with the Google Turn It In button. Most things, when it's a form, I do want you to do that. But when it's a Jamboard, an ongoing thing that you can correct, please do not do that. Even, you know, when you are doing a skill sheet, for instance, as many of you already have been doing, even during this period, hopefully still listening, but even when you're doing a skill sheet, you can, you know, get your score, 5 out of 8. You don't need to, you know, push the Turn It In button back on Google Classroom until you get the score you want. You know, if you're happy with a 7 out of 8, fine. But you know, you can keep going for the 8 out of 8. And again, the point here is not to kind of just randomize your answers till you get it right. You do want to go back and spend time thinking through, okay, well, what was it really asking? Where's the actual evidence for my answer? Oh, I missed this here. You know, you want to do the thinking. The point is the thinking, not any one particular fact. Okay, so yeah. So as far as you hitting that Turn It In button on Google Classroom, that is for your own record keeping. But if you do it with a Jamboard or something like that, then it's how do I put it? I'm not gonna get it. So make sure you have made it and shared it with me. Now, some of you did wonder, how do you make it? And so it's been a while since we've made one. So just as a reminder, you go to your Google Drive and you go to New. And maybe it'll respond, maybe it won't. There we go. And this is where you normally could make a Google Doc, a Google Sheet, a slide, or a form. But here, you go to More, and then down towards the bottom is Google Jamboard. Google Jamboard is a nice cross between Google Drawings and Google Slides, in that it has multiple you know, sheets or whatever, just like Google Slides, but you can draw on it. A bit fewer options than Google Drawings, but it's a nice child of the two, if you will. And there you are. There's a blank one. Here's where the shared thing goes. You type in my email address. It should finish it for you if you just start typing it. I'll go over here, and this is where you title it. Jamboard first, your last name, okay, and so on as the directions say, and then you go from there. So if you were wondering how do I make it in the first place, then that's what you do, okay. So even if your Jamboard is not done, if you can at least make it and share it with me, you won't get a 0. So please think about that. But again, even more importantly is this last section of Chapter 8 that I've also given you the last skill sheets for, is getting to the point where we can explain what chemistry happens based on the shapes of the molecules. We can know whether things will be a liquid or a gas, or at least we can make pretty good predictions based on their shapes, based on their lone pairs, and that sort of thing. So please do that. And I'm going to go ahead and shrink this again back to my normal size. There we go. And I'm still just seeing 5. Okay. Well, I did give you the new online labby thing to do with Savas as well. So you've got plenty to do. You've got to finish up these drawings if you haven't. You've got a couple new skill sheets, and you've got that at home on the computer lab. So I will be quiet now and mute myself. I will continue to record this in case somebody asks a question, then I can have that recorded as well. Okay, while I was muted there, I answered a question here about uh, what do I do if I only have one hydrogen? Then chances are, especially if you have a halogen, group 17 or 7A, if you have one of those elements, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, then they're going to have three lone pairs. And so how do you do that? Well, the shape of it is going, or I should say the geometry of it is going to be the same as the example I had there with NH4 or with NH3. So there's going to be a central atom, and that's going to be the halogen because it's bigger than hydrogen. And around it are going to be three lone pairs, the two dots things. And then the other spot is going to be a hydrogen. It doesn't matter where you put the hydrogen, whether it's the top one or the bottom left one or one of the ones that comes out towards you or it goes away from you, as long as it's at one of the spots. And the other three spots have lone pairs. Lone pairs. And there's no special way to do the lone pairs. I said you could use the circles, you could use in very small circles, or you could use the marker to just squiggle a little thing that means an electron. Or maybe you'll come up with a new method that I didn't think of. So if you do wonder whether I will interpret it correctly, feel free to have a key, just like a map would have a legend. But hopefully that helps you all at home as you're dealing with things. Most of these molecules will have a tetrahedral geometry. A few won't, but most of them will. And of course, if you choose a more difficult one, then I'll look kindly on that. But the shape may not be tetrahedral. So, for instance, hydrogen fluoride will just be linear in shape because it's just two atoms. Two can only make a line or a line segment. But the geometry will have four domains, we call them, four domains around the central atom, four things coming out. Just one atom and three lone pairs, but it'll add up to be four things coming out. And the best way to spread four out in 3 dimensions is with a tetrahedron. All right, I'll be quiet again. Questions from those at the home? Okay. it is time for you to go. I forgot to unmute myself to tell you that. I'm sorry. You do need to go to second period. Thank you. Bye-bye. Get outside, get into nature, make your own discoveries. Amaranth, it's time to go. You're the first here, and you're the last here. But I'm going